Hey guys, I wanted to go over this article that I read, which I thought it was very interesting, from BuzzFeed. So it's 13 horrifying facts about witches that are unfortunately true. Alright, so let's see. Number one. So basically, a suspected witch were strip searched to see if they have the devil's mark on their body. The devil's mark, or the witch's mark, was said to be a permanent mark inflicted by the devil on a witch to show their obedience to him. It was believed that he scratched his claws across the witch's skin or used a hot iron poker to mark them. Some people also believe that the witch's mark could be found under the person's hair or their eyelid, or that the devil inflicted it by licking the witch's private place. Really, that's just fucked up. I'm sorry. But I think they just wanted to see their coochie. Alright, we'll scroll down to 2. Number 2. In 1428, Valais witch trials are the first recorded event where victims were prosecuted and killed because they're accused of witchcraft. Alright, let's see. Let me show the picture. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scroll up that far. Alright. Well, you got a baby in there? Well, that's just wrong. Okay. The victims of the trials are accused of a number of things, including sorcery and making pacts with the devil. The victims supposedly paid tribute to the devil and were appeared as a bear or a ram. Some victims are tortured to death without confessing, while others confess to a variety of evil deeds, including killing or eating their own children. Oh my god. Oh, good lord. Anyway, let's go to the next one here. Alright, all this advertisement. Okay. Number 3. Cakes made with the urine of those thought to be afflicted by witchcraft were fed to dogs. What? And what are those things? Is it like a mutated frog, or what is that? Oh my god. Anyways, a witch cake was believed to have the power to reveal whether a person's illness or possession was actually caused by witchcraft. The cake, or something like a biscuit, was made using the urine of the afflicted person, rye flour, and ashes, creating an extremely unappetizing brew that was then fed to a dog. If the familiar displayed the same symptoms as the possessed person, this was considered enough evidence that the illness had been inflicted by witches. The dog was supposed to point to the witch who has caused the illness. This technique was also used during the Salem witch trials. Can you believe that? Oh my gosh. I'm so glad I live in modern times. Alright. 4. The ducking tool was commonly used to torture and humiliate women accused of witchcraft. Oh my gosh. This is probably why I'm afraid of water. Can't really see it. black and white. Looks like a cage. Is that like a cage? It looks like a cage. Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. And all those people were so innocent, you know. Oh, I see what it is. A chair. Oh, I thought this was a cage. Oh, well, that's dumb. Unless they tied him up to the chair. I'll say they can just break free. Oh my god, that's so creepy. It looks like a face. Ew. The device was made of a wooden or iron chair attached to a beam and usually placed near a river or pond. It was repeatedly lowered into the water with the victim strapped to it. It was typically done multiple times for long periods. Often proved fatal, though drowning or shock. I don't know. Alright, next one. Marja bin, one of the most famous victims of the witch trials in the 1600s, was killed after being accused of being impregnated by Satan. Marja bin was one of about 250 people killed in the witch trials in Fulda, Germany. Bin was arrested and thrown in jail even though she was pregnant. When in jail, she was forced to confess to a murder of her second husband and the child that they had together. She also forced to confess that her unborn child was a product of intercourse with Satan. She was burned at the stake. Oh my god. I mean, I know there's people back then that were weird, but I think most of the time these people were like so scared that they just blamed everyone. You know what I mean? Like, if they didn't like you, oh, you're a witch. You know what I mean? It's like you can't even trust your neighbors anymore because they're just so scared that they're gonna be accused of something. The witch's bridle was a torture device used to stop witches from enchanting spells. Oh my god, that's awful. And they're so dumb because you don't have to say it out loud, you can just say it in your head. Oh my god, people just didn't think back then. But you know, whatever. Sometimes known as the scolded bridle or branks, the witch's bridle was a torture device used to stop witches from reciting spells. The device was usually made of iron and acted as a muzzle, which with a piece of metal permanently placed in the mouth. It usually has spikes laying flat across the tongue, making talking excruciating and virtually impossible. The device was used as a method of humiliation, usually with a chain attached to it, so that the supposed witch could be paraded around in public. Wow. Wow. That must hurt. They must have, I don't know how the heck they did that. I'm surprised their tongue didn't get swollen. Okay. Suspected witches were repeatedly poked with a small needle. Oh my god. Pricking was the act of using a small needle or knife to prick a mark that is thought to be the devil's mark. The pricker would poke the mark and it would accuse, if the accused didn't bleed or show signs of pain, then they were said to be a witch. The people doing this were only paid if they found a supposed witch. So many shame prickers emerged. These men would use a knife that would retract into the handle when pressured as applied, resulting in people being falsely accused. Oh my fucking god, really? That's really scary if they did that shit. That's really sad. Really sad. Okay. And one accused sorcerer was pressed to death. Oh my god. Giles Corey and his wife Martha were both accused of witchcraft in Salem witch trials. Giles refused to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, and was then tortured by pressing, a method in which the victim is crushed under extreme weight. Although the method was legal at the time, this is the only record of it being used. Giles died after 3 days without pleading. Oh my god, can you imagine having all that weight on you and you have to wait 3 days to die? I mean, talk about... Oh my gosh, I just can't talk, I can't say anymore. Another torture method was the garrote. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Or strangled with a wire or a rope. Oh yeah, that's gonna make you die. Victims were usually shackled into a chair with a metal collar placed around their neck. A lever was turned that would make the collar tighten, eventually causing suffocation. Oh yeah. Angus Simpson, who was believed to be a witch in Scotland in the late 1500s, was thrown into prison, examined for the devil's mark, and told to confess. The captors proceeded to shave all of her body hair and used the gator method on her for an hour until they found what they believed to be the devil's mark. She then was burned at the stake. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Alright, next one. 4-year-old Dorothy Good was the youngest person to be accused of witchcraft in the Salem witch trials. She was imprisoned and later confessed that she and her mother, Sarah Good, were witches. She claimed that she had seen her mother consorting with the devil and was said to have been giving a talking snake and would drain her blood. People believe the snake to be a witch's familiar. The residents of the Salem claim that the child was feral. She is said to have bitten people and have behaved like a wild dog. Oh my god. These people are just so sad. You know, back in those days too, you know, everyone was male on the stand. And everybody, you know, like I said, everybody's so scared that they all want everyone to die, you know what I mean? Like, you know, as long as they're not getting accused of anything, they don't care. Okay, number 11. Witches are accused of holding rituals where they ate exhumed corpses. Oh my god, really? The Witches' Sabbath was believed to be a ritual where the witches gathered to practice witchcraft and dance with the devil. At the time of the mass witches' trials, the accused were forced to confess of having attended these events. The confessions were usually a mix of what the victims' prosecutors were telling them to say and what the victims believed might be happening at their meetings. It was during the case of Angus Sampson that was the idea that the witches exhumed and ate corpses first arose. It then became a common confession among the accused in Scotland, with one of the worst accounts being of the witches' Sabbath in Forfar, where witches were said to have exhumed and eating the bodies of babies. Yeah. I don't think that's true, but whatever. Alright, next one is some witches are dunked in water to test their innocence. So this is probably the one that we all kind of know. So it was probably most talked about in what we were taught in school. Suspected witches' hands and legs were tied together with a rope, and the victims were then submerged into water by their accuser. If they began to sink, their innocence was proven. You probably heard that this meant definite death, but innocent people who pulled into a boat and spared, if they had already died, that is. There were many beliefs about water. Some people believed that witches were extremely light and could simply not be heavy enough to sink, while others thought that their renouncing of God meant that baptism was possible. Yeah. Alright, last one. And some were focused on enduring a system of torture that involved victims being hung and pulled from their arms. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine back in the medieval times? Ooh, look at that. Oh my god. The strappetto worked as a pulley system in which the victim would have their hands tied behind their back and then rise into the air to hang. The victim would then be dropped and raised in intervals, resulting in horrendous pain and often dislocating the arms. Oh my god. Ugh. It's making me sick. Sometimes weights were added to the victim's feet to increase the pain. Although this tactic was used to coerce victims to confessing to being practitioners of witchcraft, it could only be used for short periods of time before victims passed out or died. So as you see, witches have been through a lot. And you know what? Most of these people are innocent. They're not witches. And it's really sad. So if you guys want to read this article that I just read, I thought it was really good. Little short look at it. It's on BuzzFeed. I will put the link in the description. You can check it out. I thought it was very well written. And very educational. Short but sweet. Alright guys, thanks so much for listening. Take care. Bye.